Once upon a time, in a peaceful land ruled by a beloved king, there was a minister who was known far and wide for his extraordinary wisdom. He wasn't just intelligent, he was thoughtful, patient, and deeply respected. Whenever the people brought their problems to the palace, it was often the minister, not the king, who found the right solution. His calm voice and sharp mind were like a guiding light to the entire kingdom. Everyone in the palace admired him. Everyone, except those who carried jealousy in their hearts. They didn't like how the minister's wisdom outshone even that of the king. Whispers started to rise among them, quietly feeding the king's insecurities. One day, the king invited the minister for a private walk through the palace gardens. The trees swayed gently as they strolled in silence until the king suddenly said, "You're a very wise man. In fact, I've never met anyone wiser. But there's something I don't understand." The minister looked at the king curiously. The king continued, "How can a man so wise have a son so foolish?" The words cut deeper than the minister expected. "What do you mean, my king?" he asked. The king stopped walking and looked at him. "Every time I pass through the town square, I see your son. I often play a little game with him. I hold out one gold coin in one hand and one silver coin in the other, and I tell him to choose one. Every time, he chooses a silver coin." The king let out a small laugh, shaking his head. "At first I thought it was just a mistake, but he's done it again and again. People have started to laugh about it. The wise man, foolish son, they say." The minister stood frozen, a mix of embarrassment and disbelief rising in his chest. He forced a smile, bowed slightly, and returned home without another word. That evening, he sat in silence at the edge of his bed. He kept thinking about what the king had said, about how his son, his own son, was being laughed at in the streets. His chest felt heavy. When his son entered the room, cheerful and unaware, the minister looked up with serious eyes. "Let me ask you something," he said. "Which is more valuable, gold or silver?" The boy smiled. "Gold is more valuable." "Then why?" the minister asked sharply. "Do you keep choosing the silver coin when the king offers you both? Why do you keep embarrassing me in front of the entire kingdom?" The boy's smile faded. His father had never spoken to him with such disappointment before. Slowly, he looked down at his feet. "Come with me," he said quietly. Confused, the minister followed his son into a small room in the house. The boy walked over to a wooden box in the corner and opened it. The minister leaned in. His eyes widened. The box was filled to the brim with silver coins, dozens and dozens of them, stacked and shining. "I've been collecting them," the boy said. "Every time the king gives me the choice, I choose silver. Not because I don't know which is more valuable, but because I do." The minister stared at him, trying to understand. "If I ever pick the gold coin," the boy continued, "the game will end. The king will stop offering. But as long as I choose silver, he keeps playing, and I keep saving." There was silence. The minister felt his throat tighten. His lips parted slightly, but no words came out. He looked down at the box, then back at his son, not with disappointment now, but with awe. All this time, his son had been called a fool. Yet here he stood, quietly outsmarting even the king. The minister slowly knelt beside him, pulling the boy into a deep embrace. "I misjudged you," he whispered. "Forgive me. You have more wisdom than many men I've known." From that day on, whenever people laughed about his son in the streets, the minister simply smiled. He no longer felt the need to explain. He had seen the truth for himself, and that was enough. The king never discovered the boy's secret, and the game continued. Week after week, he offered the same 2 coins. And week after week, the boy chose silver, smiling politely as the king chuckled. In time, the boy grew into a man, quiet, steady, and thoughtful. And while others chased quick rewards, he built a future one silver coin at a time. Lesson: sometimes, the quietest people carry the deepest wisdom. Just because someone doesn't do what others expect doesn't mean they're foolish. True intelligence often lies in patience, strategy, and the ability to think long-term. The world may laugh, but wisdom doesn't shout. It shows itself in results. Now tell me, what lesson did you learn from this story? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. And please, if this story touched you even just a little, don't scroll away. Subscribe right now, because the next story might be the one that changes your life. Let's grow together.